This modding tool will massively help you with your skinning and your modding. It's coming up after this. What's up guys, and welcome back to Game Take, and welcome to episode 3 of this mini series of Mod Studio 2. This is the 3D previewer. The 3D previewer will take you up close and personal with any of the trucks that are available in the game base files. So the game base file needs to be extracted first. Now I already showed you how to do that in episode 2. So if you haven't watched this video, go ahead, pause this video, watch that. Don't worry, we'll wait. And now that you're back, there are 2 ways of using 3D previewer. I will show you the fast way and the way that I like to call the more professional looking way. Okay, but we're going to start off with the fast way. Okay, so now that you're back, I'm going to show you what we do. So basically, you've extracted your files and you've put them into a folder somewhere on your desktop or somewhere easy to access. So here's mine. You can see I've got version 140 game files, and if I open it up, inside it you can see I've got base and dev files, and inside the base file I've got extracted base, and inside that is the actual file. I'm going to show you how to open up Mod Studio 2 and the 3D previewer, how to put the truck in, and etc. And then we're going to go back to the paint.net side of it and do our layers, etc. Things like that. Okay, so basically open up Mod Studio 2. I'll stick that in there, and then if you come across to SCS tools, click 3D previewer. There we can see it there. Now you see at the top it says base path. Now that's the path to the file that you've just saved in your desktop. So what we want to do is go to browse. I'm going to go to my desktop. I'm going to come down to where the files that the folder that I've got them in. Then it's base files, and it's extracted base. And just select that folder and you'll see it up there. Look, it fills it all in. Now this is the fast way and the easy way. I will be showing you the more professional way, obviously, if you like. That will come up like this. Put that to full screen. Now the templates that you're going to be working with are 4096 or 4096. So the first thing you do is press your control button, and with your mouse wheel just scroll, and you'll see that that one now has changed to 4096. And if you press the Alt button and scroll with your mouse, you'll see that that one changes, and that gets us to the right size for when we do actually making our skin. Next thing you want to do, come across to your base files, and we'll open them up. I'm going to go into my extracted base, and then we're going to come down to vehicle. And then we're going to come to truck. Now in my case, I'm going to do this DAF XF. Nice and simple. We'll keep it really, really easy for this tutorial. But you open whatever truck it is you're going to do. You open that. And now what we're looking for now is the truck PMD file, which is here. Select that, drag it, drop it in. You can close this now. And then if you scroll back with your mouse wheel a little bit, you can see there is the truck. Now if you press F1, you'll get this, and this will show you all your different controls that you can use. You can toggle things using the letters and your WAS and D keys. You'll be using Control X later. Have a good look at this and then go in and have a play. To come back out of this, you're just going to press F1. But I would suggest before you do that, probably a good idea might be to take a screenshot of this, yeah, or write it down or whatever, because I think it'd be handy. Now you press F1 and you're back in. So if you hold down your left mouse button, you'll see that you can manipulate the truck all round, do whatever you want to do. So the other way to put these in, and what I call the more professional way, is let's just open up Mod Studio 2. So we go into SCS tools, go to 3D previewer. Now you're looking for your path like we did before. We browse on the desktop. There's mine in the extracted base, so do that again as normal. So you've got your path filled in, and then in here you want to add in your models. So you can see that takes you straight in to the extracted base. And we will come down to vehicle, truck, DAF XF as in we did in our case. And you can see it just opens up PMDs this way. So truck PMD there, click open. You can see it'll do that. And you can also do the same with your images. So you can add in your images. We want to go to desktop. We've got it down as saved test. Yeah, and so you could add these in one at a time. We'll add that one in. Open. You'll see it'll show that. Add the next one in. The next one in. And add the next one in. That should be all of them. And then it would launch 3D preview. And this time you'll see it come straight in. Puts it in. So we'll go to full screen, and you can see it's put all the images in, not in the positions that they want to be in or anything like that, but it's put it all in and it's opened straight up into it. So there's the two ways of doing it. You can drag and drop, or you can do it this way. So what we'll do now is we're going to shut this down. Yeah, and we're going to go into paint.net and we're going to do that side of things, and then we'll come back to this. Okay, I'm actually going to load it all in again from scratch when we do it. So we just shut that off. We're going to close this. That was just to show you a quick way of getting into the preview. Okay, so we need to go to our templates. So I'm going to go into my templates, and I'm going to do the DAF XF 105. Okay, so we'll open that up. It's very hard to see, but I'm going to do the super space one. So I'm just going to right click on it, open with paint.net. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do another layer, double click on it, call it vision, click OK, come over to your tools, select white as your primary, hit your paint bucket tool, paint it white, and then drop that one down below there. So now we can see what we're doing. What I'm going to be doing is just three basic things from this. I'm going to do a text, a stripe, and a piece of color onto it, but we will be painting the whole truck a color, so we'll do that right now. So first off, we're going to come down and we're going to add a layer and move it to the top. We're going to come across to the color wheel. I'm going to do it in a hideous green. I'm going to paint bucket, hit that, and then I'm going to uncheck this layer. Okay, but the paint is there. So we're going to add a layer, double click on it, we're going to call it text, click OK, and we're going to then come across to the text button. We're also going to check that the primary color, we'll change that. We'll do the writing in black, do the text, I suppose impact would be all right, and then I'm just going to write test. Let's bring that up a bit. What we're going to do, we're going to come up to the move selected pixels, and we're just going to put this here for now, and that'll be the text layer done. And then we're going to Control D for deselecting it. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a stripe. Now the stripe is going to be in two parts. The reason being because I want to show you this when you've got aerofoils, and especially on the Scania with that spoiler part, it's it won't line up if you just did a line across. I'll show you what I mean. We do another layer, call it stripe, click OK. Let's change the color of the stripe to red, just for the argument's sake of this. Right, so let's suppose I'm going to do it with I'm not going to do it with a line, I'm going to just do it with a box. It's quite a simple way of doing it. Let's suppose we did that, thinking that when this part is joined up, let's color that in. Go to your paint bucket tool, select inside it, and then deselect it. Let's suppose you would imagine that will be straight. Now I'm not sure on the DAF XF if that will come out straight, but I know for a fact if you do it on the Scania it doesn't. Yeah, so what you would need to do here for the two parts of that is you would need to split that there. Okay, what we would do is, just for ease of thing, is to do another little square, then hit delete. You can see we've got now 2 parts, but what is a better way of doing this stripe, if you want it to go across to that, is to again remove that. You can do it with your eraser tool, but I just did it that way quickly. Would be to do that and then do another layer, stripe 2, doesn't matter that it's too big because you can adjust it in the actual thing. Come to your paint bucket, select it. Right, okay, so now we've got 2 parts of a stripe. We've got a text, and then we'll do a color. So I can hear a bugle going on in the background. There must be something going on at the church. I'm going to select a new layer. We'll call it color box. So if we was to select the rectangle box, we wanted that to be purple. Select the paint bucket tool, select that in there, Control and D. And don't worry about positioning, because this is what the 3D previewer is for. Okay, so you've made your different parts. You would do the other side over here and all these other little bits, or you can do them one at a time, or you can make your skin so it's perfect and don't only take in the bits that you're having trouble with into 3D preview. You don't have to take the whole thing in. First things first, I'm going to save this as a PNG so that I can come back to it. Save as, yeah, we'll just call it that. We'll save it on the desktop so we know where it's gone. Okay, so that's all of our layers, and we've got a project to come back to should we need it. Now the best thing I can suggest to you is to uncheck all your layers. This way you won't mess up. Uncheck your vision. Back to the top. Check back in your color box. Come up, and you want to save as. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new folder onto my desktop, and I'm going to call it, I'm going to do a new folder. I'm just going to name it saved test. Okay, so the layer that you're about to save, you want to save as a PNG, just that layer, yeah, into that folder, and save it. And that's that one. And then if you go up to your history and go back one, then come up, uncheck that color box. Now come down and do stripe 2, check that in, come back over, file, save as, paint.net, save it as a PNG, and then what you need to do is change the name. So this will be stripe 2, save. It'll ask you to flatten the layers again. Yep. Okay. Then come back up to your history. Go back one. Uncheck stripe 2. I should have told you to name the first one color box, but never mind. We'll know that. So we'll come down to stripe. Back over to file. Save as. PNG. I'm sure you get it by now. And then change the name to stripe. Save it. I'll ask you to flatten it. Okay, come back, uncheck that one. We're going to check in the text box. Come over, change the name to text. PNG, save, flatten. Come back up, open it, and I think that's all of it now. Yep, that's all we need. We don't need the vision layers or the background or anything like that. Okay, brilliant. So we can now recheck everything back in and just undo our color. Okay, so then we're gonna make sure that that is still saved as the PDN abdaf. That'll do. That's our project. Okay, so you've now got your base files are inside here. You've done your path because we did that already, but we're going to do it again. And we've got our PNGs that we've just made. We're going to open up Mod Studio 2. We're going to come up to SCS Tools, 3D Preview. Well, you can see now that we haven't got our path because I took it out. Okay. So we're going to browse. Let's do it properly. We're going to browse. Go into your desktop where your files are. Open that up. Now mine's in extracted base, as you know. So we're going to press that. And there it is coming up there. This is still the easy way. Okay. So we've got our path in. Now before we launch the 3D previewer, I've moved my files off of the desktop now onto another monitor, but you can just close them down in your taskbar. Now we're going to launch the 3D previewer. Okay, let's put that to full screen. We're going to hold down the control button and with your mouse wheel roll and change that to 4096. And then we're going to hold down the Alt button, same again, roll the mouse wheel, and we're going to change that so that's the same size as our template that we've used for the DAF. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to open up our base file. We're going to come into the one that we extracted. We're going to go to Vehicle. We're going to go to Truck. We're going to go to DAF-XF. We're going to come down to Truck PMD. We're going to drag that in. And then just going to roll the mouse wheel back a bit so you can see it a bit better. And there is our DAF-XF. Now these are the variants of our cabs. You've got A, B and cabin C. So there's cabin C, there's cabin B, and there's cabin A. And if you press F1, you'll see the controls you need for manipulating the vehicle around, etc., toggling things. As I said, make a note of these or take a screenshot. Okay, so at the moment you can see there's our model. Just quickly showed you the cabins, and these are different parts. We don't need to mess about with those for the moment, but you'll see that your layers are empty. So what you want to do is come into, in my case, the file where I kept the PNGs. Yeah, and we're going to drop them in one at a time. You'll see it opens up. And then up here, you'll now see that all the different layers are there. So text is at the forefront at the moment, and you can select the one that you want to mess about with. So we're going to choose which one we want to do. So let's do the test one as it's highlighted. We want to put that where we want it. So let's suppose we want to go up, holding the control button down, and I want it there, line it up. But let's suppose I wanted it to be in line with that window. I would hold the control and Alt and bring with the mouse, then just holding the control. Obviously you can scroll in to get right up close and see, hold your mouse, bring it. So you would see how you wanted it and where you wanted it basically. Okay, so then we would come up and let's do the stripe. So we're doing the main big part of the stripe here now. So I'm going to hold control, and if you wanted to line it up here, because what I'm trying to do is to show you why you did the split of the two. See, because in this it will put it where it should be. And then let's go to stripe 2, which is this one, and then you could line it up, you see, in here like so. Well, that could be anywhere. You could move it around, or the purple bit that we did, let's supposing that was, these are just examples. Let's supposing we wanted that. You can, while you're doing these different things, manipulate. So if you hold control, and you can obviously move it down and around and stuff, but if you hold Alt and go left or right, you can make it smaller. It alters the scale of it. If you went right, it would obviously get bigger. You go left, so left and right makes it smaller. So if we just make that smaller, as if we want to go inside this panel, we just hold the control and bring it over a bit more. Go back to Alt, Go left, we'll make that a bit smaller. Hold the control, otherwise the truck moves. Yeah, let's suppose in there. And then if you hold the Alt and scroll up with the mouse, it does make the thing come down, but you'll see that the box is in fact actually getting smaller. Holding the Alt, you go back to control, move it up. I haven't got very much room for my mouse here at the moment, so just wanted to show you that you can manipulate this. I'm sure somebody will tell me how to do this much faster. Still a little bit too big. So that's one way of manipulating your lines, etc. Blah, blah, blah. So one other thing I'll quickly show you guys is, let's go around to the other side as well. While we're in here, now we're going to use the paint.net colors. We've done our truck green, but you could, if you wanted to, change the color in here to see what it looks like with, say, blue. You can get to see what the colors would look like with a different base color or whatever, you know, and you can play about with them. But that's something you can play about with. If you were in American truck, if you come up here, you'll see that it says alternative UV false. If you wanted to toggle that on for some of the American trucks, you would just press the V key and you'll see that it changes to true. You can see they moved. If you wanted to toggle the glass is G. You see you can toggle the G and the glass out. There's also B, toggles the background out of the way so you can see a better look at it. If you toggle H, puts the shadows in, you'll see that shadows will change up there to true. I'm not sure quite why you would want to put shadows in, but somebody who's a bit more experienced on that would know what that is. So if I just show you on the text layer, using the control button activates the layer move. So activating the Alt button does size, and activating the control and Alt activates the rotate. Let's put this back to white so that we can watch it a bit more carefully. Okay, so if you want to move the camera about, using the W key zooms in, S key zooms out, A key moves that way, D key moves that way, Q moves it up, down rather, E moves it up. Obviously holding the left mouse button, you can move around, and you can also scroll in using the mouse wheel. Okay, if you were like that, if you was to press the R button, that will reset your camera. Let's see what happens if you press F. You see it will center it on screen. And if you press the C button, that toggles an orbit. And you can get right up close with that then. You can see I didn't have that in the right place, but for this tutorial will be fine. So you would press R, come back with that. Now I haven't got a page up and a page down on my keyboard, so I can't show you that one, but you can adjust these by using the page up and page down if you've got those on your keyboards. I don't know if it will work on arrow on this, no, but you can see there, look, move your layer up, move your layer down, move selected layer to the top is the home button, to the bottom is the end key. So I haven't got any of those on my keyboard, so I can't show you that. Control X we'll be using to export this. Okay, so if you're happy with what you've done, you then want to just press Control X, and it is saving it all. And then we're going to come up to home. We're going to open up the MS2 directory, and we're going to come across to the files, and you'll see here in preview exports, there's the skin export PNG, and all you would do is just right click. If you want, you can just do open with paint.net, or you can just do copy, go back to your paint.net that you did earlier, and just uncheck these. I wouldn't delete them just yet, uncheck all of those, and then I'm gonna add a layer at the top, then I'm gonna add a layer, and I'm gonna come up here on that layer, I'm gonna copy in And there you can see is what has just been exported from the 3D previewer, and that is how it lines up there. You can see it would just make that very much simpler. Okay, and then all you would do is you could get rid of all these other ones, but come down then, check in your color layer, remove your background, remove your vision, file that. You could save it as a PNG so it'll overwrite the other one. Yep, overwrite the other one, thank you very much. And then also save as a PNG. You can close that down. And then put it in through Mod Studio and turn it into a mod, which I will now quickly do. Right, new project, ETS. Okay, mod manifest, mod name, test 3D, GT. I'm doing this as fast as I can. Mod version 1.0. There's no dependencies. There's a paint job, no compatible versions. Icon, we're gonna use the default. Text, not gonna bother. Add a template, simple truck skin, double click on that, DAF XF105, click the super space, internal name, don't forget must be lowercase, test 3D, skin name, Steve 1, I don't know, skin price 1, don't need to mess about with that, image, just drag your PNG in, here it is, icon, use default, don't need to bother with metallic and mask for the moment, and save the project, test 3D, make sure that's an MS2 file, save, come down, export the mod, press export. Hopefully it comes to this without any errors. File name, leave 1, make sure it's SCS, and it's going to save it to, we're going to change it to desktop just so I can find it really simple, but okay, exporting the mod, showing the folder, it'll be down here, where is it, there it is, Steve 1 SCS. Don't worry about the fact it's got a notepad sign on it. That's a mistake that I made a long time ago and I can't correct yet. And then we want to open up our documents folder, Euro Truck, mod. I usually copy it in, paste it into the mod file, shut that down. Let's go across quickly to open up ETS. I'm sorry if this is rushing, but I don't want the video to be too long. Okay, there we can see is our mod that we just made. Put that in, confirm the changes, continue the game. Okay, we're gonna come down to vehicle browser. We're going to come up here and click truck design. It's this one at the top. And if we come across the paint job, mod should be above this one. There it is, Steve 1. There's that line. Should have made that one slightly more narrow using the Alt button and the left and right. It's not in the right place or the right position or anything like that, but I was just to show you how you manipulate it. There you can see this is the green color that we put on. And so that is some of the uses for 3D Previewer. It does make it a lot easier, and also I think it's a bit more fun, to be quite honest with you. So that's how you use the 3D Previewer, guys, and I hope you found this useful. Stay stay watching for more episodes coming up in this mini-series on Mod Studio 2. We're going to have a look at some of in episode 4, we're going to be having a look at some of the other things that are inside here and working out exactly what they do, and go into more in-depth in the file system. And that's all coming up in episode 4. So thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you in another one. Bye for now.